haiku. I'm going to go over several different poetic forms. Form means exactly that. It's a very rigid structure to how these poems are to be set up and written. Haiku is the first form that I'm going to introduce you to. It's quite the opposite of the epic that I spoke about earlier. It's the shortest form of the poem, whereas epic is the longest form. And I want to take a moment to talk to you about poetry length. Every story has its own form. So for poetry, every story that's being told, or whatever's being described, has its own form, which means some stories are meant to be long. You have to go through a lot of details and perhaps an entire journey and several characters before the story can be explained and resolved. Other stories, however, are smaller. They don't require pages. They may just require a couple stanzas. Haiku is a specific form that was created to capture a moment, which is really what poetry is about. The haiku form is popularized in Japan, and it's meant to express a simple idea, image, or feeling. So in just capturing one single thing, it need not be very long. It does have a very rigid structure, like the other ones I'm going to introduce you to. It's only 3 lines long, and the lines are not measured by syllables, as in meter, but the lines in haiku are measured by a syllabic pattern of words, 5, 7, 5, not stressed or unstressed, rather just the regular syllables in the word. Here's an example. In James Kirkup's Evening. In the amber dusk, each island dreams its own night. The sea swarms with gold. So you see how there's no story being told here specifically? There's no narrative, there's no beginning, middle, and end. But rather you have 3 lines that are trying to express a very specific emotion or an image. Speaking of images, it's very important to introduce you to Ezra Pound, who's known as the father of imagism. He and H.D., or Hilda Doolittle, started the imagism movement because they believed that the power of the image is so powerful that the story need not even be explained. Here's an example of one of Ezra Pound's haikus. In a station of the metro, the apparition of these faces in the crowd, petals on a wet black bough. What Pound has done here is he's modified the haiku form because he was a modernist. Instead of having 3 lines in the body of the poem, the 3 lines of the haiku incorporate the title. Also, he's done something interesting where Japanese haiku poetry was invented to discuss nature and the simplicity of the seasons changing or the beauty of flowers on the cherry tree. Ezra Pound talks to us about the same beauty and the same capturing of an image, but he does it in a modern way by talking about a subway platform. He talks about the subway platform as a black bow, a tree branch that's dark, and the images of the people's faces on the platform are like wet petals on this black branch. So he's modernized the haiku by showing us how to capture a simple moment in the city, not just in rural Japan. You'll have to know these specific forms for this exam. You'll be asked to identify specific forms. So please remember and review the haiku form is only 3 lines long.